Hello and welcome to Cooking the Books with Heather. Today we are, again, maybe for you, I'm not sure, cooking from the Dishoom cookbook. It is a small chain of sort of upscale Indian food in the UK, which we have had the opportunity to visit, and I've heard a lot of great things about the book. So we're working from it now. I bought it. And today we're making Makhani sauce, which is basically the butter chicken sauce. It is tomato-based, creamy, all of that. I've got all of the ingredients here, which includes a spice mix that we've already made in another video, and I'll link it when that comes up, and a bunch of things. The first thing I'm going to do right now is to whiz up my tomatoes in the blender. You can use fresh tomatoes or good quality tinned tomatoes. I'm using my home canned tomatoes in jars that we did for this channel, and I'll link that up here. They're really good. Should be good, hopefully. So I've got basically a quart in here, but I'm going to puree them until they are a fine consistency. Basically, we don't want the sauce to have a bunch of texture. Should be good enough. We're gonna set this aside, put this over here, because we won't need it until when we get to the stove. So now we're gonna talk about the rest of all of these ingredients that we're gonna use here. First I'm gonna measure out the oil that we're supposed to cook all of this into my pot that I plan to cook it in. It says a large saucepan. This will be plenty big enough. And this is a lot of oil. And it just says vegetable oil, so I am using grapeseed oil. Plenty. It's quite a lot. And we have garlic two ways. I have whole cloves here that we're going to process together in just a second. And I have some that have been diced finely, chopped, whatever. We've done the tomatoes. In here I have our whole spices. I have bay leaves, cinnamon sticks, and also both black cardamom and green cardamom pods. So these are our whole spices. We have some fine sea salt and more of the Degi Merch chili powder, which is a mix of chili powders, including Kashmiri, which is why it's so red. We have some butter that I have measured out. Butter chicken, there is butter in it. In here we have some garam masala, which we have made already on the channel from this book. I will link that up here. It's probably a short. We have some ground cumin. We are going to use some honey, which I will measure out in a minute. We have some sugar, which I have already measured out. Have some dill fronds, which go in right at the end. I'm not really going to measure it. I'm just going to sort of pick them off and put them in. It doesn't say I need to chop them. It just says fronds. So I'm not going to throw the whole thing in, but I'm going to pick off the bits as much as I think it needs. And then we have some, it calls for double cream. That is not something that is easy to find here in the US. So I'm just going to use heavy cream. It's as close as we have readily available, so it'll be fine. The other thing is, since this goes in with, let me check, the cumin and the garam masala, I'm going to add some of these dried fenugreek leaves that I am supposed to crumble with my, crushed with between my fingers into a powder. So I am going to do that now. I'm going to have to do something about this later, but anyway. Supposed to make it a powdery consistency. I don't know how well that's going to happen, but because they are not super crispy dried. So that's just going to have to be enough. I've lost some of it there. And then the other thing that we do need to process here is the ginger and garlic. So we're supposed to either grind it using a mortar and pestle or use a microplane. So you can see which one I have chosen. So I've measured it out or weighed it out. I have peeled the ginger, although I don't know if that's absolutely necessary. I really prefer to grate my ginger from frozen just because you don't end up with a lot of stringy bits that I'm going to end up with here. But it doesn't tell me to do that, so I decided to go ahead and do it from fresh, which is, it calls for fresh root ginger. All right, that'll be fine. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other part of my garlic, which is a lot easier to grate. I peeled it, but did not bother to take off the root end. So I will just grate it until we get there. There is a recipe in the book for both ginger and garlic paste that you can keep on hand. I don't know why it doesn't use that in this recipe. I haven't made that yet, so I hope I don't have to do this type of thing with a whole bunch just to get enough paste to put in the freezer, because doing enough for one recipe is not fun. Okay. That is all of the processing we need to do. So I'm going to take a few things over to the stove and we're going to move the cameras and see you in a minute. I've got my oil heating over medium-high heat, and I'm going to put in my chopped garlic at this point. And that's pretty high heat, but we're supposed to brown it, but not burn it. And it says 7 to 8 minutes. I don't think it's going to take that long at this high temperature, but I guess we'll see. I've got a strainer to be able to take this out and drain on some paper towels I have over here, because I don't think it will fit. My slotted spoon will let it fall right through, so I got a strainer, small one. Yeah, it is already starting to brown. Lightly golden brown. I think we're going to call that good. That was nowhere near, you see that? That's lightly golden brown, right? That was nowhere near 7 to 8 minutes, but whatever, it's fine. Okay, so we're going to put this back over the medium-high heat, and in it goes our bay leaves, green and black cardamom pods, and the cinnamon sticks, and we're going to let these my heat went off, so there we go. We're going to let these crackle for about a minute, stirring regularly. We're kind of infusing the flavor of the whole spices into the oil at this point, which we have also done with the garlic. So now there's garlicky, herby oil. Well, spices. I guess these are more spices than herbs. All right, I'm going to call that good enough. We're going to turn this down. It doesn't say how low to turn it down, but we're about to put this paste in there, and I think it's going to burn. So I'm turning it to sort of medium low. Just says turn it down. And we're supposed to cook it for about 5 minutes, allowing the paste to brown but not burn. So I guess we'll see. It is definitely going to sputter. There we go. It's bubbling a lot because there's a lot of moisture in the garlic and the ginger. It's getting to my eyes. Yeah. Turning it up to about medium. I think we're almost there. Okay. I'm going to call that good, and I think I'm going to do it in the order it says. We're supposed to add the tomatoes. Oh yeah, those are starting to brown a little bit more. Just add the tomatoes. My tomatoes are, I don't know, maybe a little bit thin. They had quite a lot of juice in them, but they were very tasty. So, all right. And now we're going to add the salt and the Degi Merch chili powder. I'm going to make sure we get it all out. Here we go. And now we're going to bring this to a rapid simmer, and we're going to reduce this by half. So we definitely need this at least at medium heat. It's going to take a little bit for the tomatoes that were, room temperature to come to a simmer. But yeah, we're going to go for at least 30 minutes. And while this is happening, I'm going to get some rice. I'm not using, there is a method in here, but I did not feel like filming it or doing that right now. So we're just going to use our rice cooker for that. I'm going to make some basmati rice. I'm going to heat up the rest of our dinner. I made most of it yesterday, and we're going to use this for the next recipe for the channel. So I'm going to figure out what else I have to do for that one once this is done. I don't think there's a lot, but anyway. We will come back and show you what this looks like in about half an hour when it is reduced by half. So we'll see you then. My sauce simmered for 30 minutes, and then I added the butter that we talked about before and let it simmer for about 5 minutes. And this is what it looks like. It's definitely thicker than it was, reduced by about half. There's a lot of oil on top. We used a lot of oil for this, but I'm just going with it. I'm sure it'll be fine. It does kind of mix up together, kind of. Anyway, at this point, we need to add a few more things, including the fresh dill fronds, and I'm just going to pick some off until I think I've got enough for the recipe. Because it's not really all that much, honestly. I like dill. My family doesn't like it quite as much as I do. We also need to add this bowl, which has our garam masala, cumin, and the fenugreek leaves that we tried to crush up. We also need to add sugar that we measured, and the honey that we measured. We're going to simmer this for another 15 minutes at this point. I've got mine turned down a little bit below medium. It was mostly at medium for that 30 minutes. I'm going to keep it maybe slightly below medium at this point. For 30 minutes, and then we also need to add back in, I forgot, our crispy garlic bits that we made in the very, very beginning. Can't forget the garlic. There we go. In 15 minutes, this will be kind of the finished sauce. So if you want to make this and hold it for later, this is the finished sauce. But since we're going to use it immediately, after 15 minutes, we're going to add the cream and let it simmer for like another 5 minutes. And then our sauce will be done. So this isn't the final product. So we will tell you about what we thought of the sauce itself. But stay tuned to see what we use this for. So there are like 3 recipes in the book that use this sauce. We're only doing one of those today, and it uses the whole batch. So this is a 1 quantity sauce for this. You can make a double batch if you like. A lot of people do, apparently. So, we'll show you what it looks like just from pictures and let you know what we think in just a minute. On this episode of Cooking the Books with Heather, you watched me make the Makhani sauce from the Dishoom cookbook. As I've said probably a million times in the 2 or 3 videos that I have filmed from this book, which you probably haven't seen yet. This will probably be the first one you guys see. Dishoom is a small chain of restaurants in the UK. I don't know if they are anywhere else, but the book gets a lot of love on the internet. A lot of people love the book, love the recipes, and we had the chance to visit the restaurant when we were in London last summer, almost a year ago now. And so I decided to go ahead and buy the book, and butter chicken is one of our favorites. So we had to make this sauce to be able to make butter chicken using it. Now there are a couple of other recipes that use this sauce, which we haven't tried yet, but the sauce was delicious. My husband said that he could taste that we had used like my tomatoes in jars. So I did use those. We've made those on this channel from my homegrown tomatoes that we had last year. I canned them, had some in the pantry, and I thought this would be a great use for them. And the sauce was absolutely delicious. I may have ruined one of my easy dinners because I generally keep a jar of simmer sauce just from the grocery store in the pantry for a quick dinner. And this was so much better. I don't know if I've ever made butter chicken from scratch before, but I definitely haven't made this one. And the sauce itself was the basis of the butter chicken, which you will see later next week. And the sauce was delicious. It was, I thought it might be slightly too salty, shockingly. So I like things kind of salty when I was just tasting the sauce as it was reducing. But after I had added the cream and everything else, it was perfect. It was delicious. Everybody enjoyed it. We also used the garam masala that we made from this book, which took quite some time, but we do have, it makes a large batch. It makes enough for, I don't know how many recipes, but I still have almost the amount that I made in the pantry. So we have plenty for more recipes. But that took some time, and then this takes some time. But it was all very much worth it. And I have heard that you can quite easily double the recipe and freeze it. So that will probably be something that I have to do to make my family happy, because we want to eat this. So if you try this, let me know in the comments down below. And if you've enjoyed watching me make this, please give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button and come back and watch me use this sauce next week.